All right, well, welcome back to the Ohio Dirt Track Podcast. My name is Clint Knight.
And I'm Jacob Horde.
And we are here on the other side of 100. This is episode 101. And, we've made it a long way here, Jacob. It's been, I don't even, what is it, 3 years now? 2.5 years?
Something like that.
Yeah. It's
2018, 2019, something like that. I can't remember.
And We've done some repeat interviews, but we are on a string of brand new drivers, brand new personalities that we've never talked to before. And we're excited to have another brand new personality on the phone this week. And if you're watching on YouTube, on the Zoom, actually, we're doing Zoom videos now, catching up with the technology post-COVID.
We're high class.
Yeah. So coming to us from college, Corbin Gurley is on the phone. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit quickly where you got your start. We've seen you on the track here in Ohio quite a bit, but where did it all come together for you, and what were you driving first?
So I started when I was like around 12, 13. I was racing go-karts, road course go-karts actually in Indiana. I started, and we went to a little track called MRP. It's in Michiana. And I started racing go-karts, and I wanted to get a feel for racing. I always watched my dad race sprint cars. He raced non-wing and around Kokomo and Gas City and stuff like that. So I was always wanting to take the dirt track side. And finally, I started racing micro sprints. I was racing at Logansport and Circus City in Indiana, and started racing restricted. And I moved up to the outlaw class and started just trying the dirt stuff, and I loved it. We probably ran, I'm assuming, like 40 shows a summer just in the micro, just getting laps, and it was pretty neat, awesome. I finally got my first win in wing class, actually, so that was pretty unique. And I always told my dad, I was like, I want to try this non-wing stuff, and we ran non-wing for a little bit, and I won in it. And then I won at Gas City one night. There was a USAC show, and then they had micros there. And I told the crowd after my interview, I was like, I want to do sprint car racing. And I got the crowd going a little bit, so that was pretty cool. But then recently, I'd say 2 years ago, I started racing sprint cars. And then the first year, unfortunately, I broke my back, so I didn't get a really full season in. And then after that, actually this year I got my full season, I guess I should say, and we're about to head out February 4th to go race in Florida, a 360. So I'm pretty pumped.
Nice. I'm gonna say, so your dad raced with non-wing, and if I remember right, your uncle Van raced with the All-Stars too?
Yep.
Okay.
He ran with the All-Stars, and my grandpa raced stock cars, and he finally started racing some wing stuff.
So, I mean, you're a third generation racer now.
Yep.
So, I mean, was it kind of like a given that you're going to be behind the wheel? But I mean, I guess you also said you were 12 or 13 when you started racing. So was it kind of a given that you're going to be behind the wheel, or was it kind of like, hey, let's go try this?
So honestly, I didn't even know I was going to start racing. I mean, we had a race car in the garage, and my mom was a little bit worried. She was like, I don't want my son to race cars, and she was like, as soon as he gets hurt, I don't want to race, So I've always wanted to try it. I told my dad, it was kind of weird. My goal was always since I started with go-kart racing, I always wanted to make it to F1. But then I started seeing like this go-kart stuff's really hard. We tried a couple national races, and they just kicked my butt. But we went dirt racing, and I fell in love with it. So I never really expected myself to be racing, but
it
at the same time, it happened. So I'm loving it. I enjoy it. It's my life. It's my passion. So
good.
So I was gonna say, in that interview you mentioned where you said you wanted to go sprint car racing, I was gonna say your dad was probably standing there thinking, "Oh no!" But it sounds like it was somewhat destiny. It was going to happen one way or the other.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's always wanted me to get in a sprint car. Me and my dad, we built a strong relationship. So we just been traveling along the road and just having so much fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. So you made the jump from micros to 360, 410 stuff. You kind of, if I remember right, you kind of bypassed 305s. So what was that transition like, going from a motor that has, 600 cc, 1000 cc, to a full-fledged 360 or 410?
So it's kind of crazy. So when I went to go my first practice session, I should say, we went to Atomic in a 360, and I was a little nervous. My most concern, I don't know why this is my biggest concern, was the throttle pedal, because I go from pressing the throttle like this to now I'm pressing it down. So I told my dad, I was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm sitting there freaking out. And then we get in the sprint car, probably do like 2 sessions, and I'm starting to actually get comfortable a little bit in the 360. And I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, I'm sitting there flying, and I'm sitting there, my head's just tilted. I'm like, this is crazy. This is awesome. I loved it. It was absolutely insane. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with, once it's got the few sessions going, I didn't really have a problem with like being scared or anything. It was just like, mostly for me, was just testing my limits. I had to like figure out, I need to drive it harder, because when I race at, like, let's say Attica, for example, like, for some reason, it's like a mind game to me. Like, I have to get in there hard and just make sure I don't turn it as much. So
just send it.
Yeah,
send it.
What's the worst that could happen?
No, for real.
So you mentioned the difference between the pedals there. Most of our listeners are going to know this because a lot of our listeners are sprint car fans. But if you're listening and you're not watching on the YouTube channel, what you're talking about, the pedals, they're not like a normal car. They're flat-footed, which is a completely different mechanism. When you're accelerating or pressing the brake in a sprint car.
Yeah. So with the micro, I feel like when I started racing a sprint car, I feel like I had a bad habit. So I never really used to brake in the micro. So I like really touched that. We had a wing slider, but I never touched that either. I was just like kind of just on the gas, just messing with the throttle. I get in the sprint car, my first couple races, I never touched the wing. I never touched the brakes. And recently I just started using the brakes, honestly. So it's kind of helped me set the car going into the corner, kind of set it up, get the wing dialed in and get her straight, So that was a huge difference, honestly. Just from the micro scene, I never used the brakes, never used the wing sliders. So I started using them recently. I'm like, wow, this helps a lot. This helps a ton.
So when you go ahead, Jacob.
No, you can go ahead.
So when you were watching, there's Jacob's cat. Always makes an appearance in the podcast here. When you were making the transition, or when you were growing up in go-karts, who was the sprint car driver that you were watching? Who were you looking up to, looking to learn from, and while you were growing up?
This is I like watching a ton of people, but someone I look up to was just some of my heroes, like Donnie Schatz and Sheldon Hodenschild. Like, I loved watching them because Sheldon back then, he was always on the gas pedal. So I absolutely loved watching Sheldon. He's
still
started getting
still
smooth.
is, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. Sheldon. He's one of my favorites. Some other people, honestly, I always watched Blaney's. I watched the Blaney's. I'm like, at first when I started watching them, I was like, who are these cars? And my dad told me a little bit history about them and stuff, and they're really, really good people and really good race car drivers.
So have you had much time to get to know any of those guys, since you've been over in Ohio some? I mean, I know Sheldon and Donnie are on the tour, but have you had a chance to talk to them or interact with them?
I've never talked to Dale or Sheldon, but I've talked to Blaney a couple times at the track. I talked to him at Fremont a couple times, and we went to I-96 in Michigan, and I got to talk to him. So yeah, he's really good dude. He's super, super awesome guy.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Let's say so. you kind of race a little bit of everywhere. You know, you said you're earlier located in Northwest Indiana. So that kind of puts you in a spot where you can go to Michigan, you can go to Ohio, Illinois, and you also sometimes go to like Lernerville or down south. So how important is it to you, you know, as a young racer to race as many places as possible?
Oh, I think it's a big key. I mean, racing everywhere, I'd feel like I just, I get I get a taste of everything. So I feel like that's super important going to all these racetracks just to, be comfortable within the track. I mean, like, I struggle a little bit at Attica, but Fremont, I've raced a couple of tracks that are like that, and I love it. I like those little small bull rings, kind of. They're something I'm a little natural to, and just traveling in general. I mean, going to Lernerville, just getting to see all these new places. I want to be good everywhere I go, So getting a taste of all those tracks is super important to me. It's to me like the seat time is just super important to me.
So you mentioned that you heading to Florida. We'll talk about that in a second. But Attica, Fremont, are there other tracks that you've been to here in Ohio that you haven't mentioned, or are there tracks that you're planning to get to here in 22 that you haven't been to before?
So I've been to Attica, Fremont, obviously, and then I've been to Waynesfield, and I think Waynes County too. I've been to those are the only 4 tracks I've been to in Ohio, and I'm planning to run more of it. They're super tough racers in Ohio. I love racing Ohio. It's a great experience, and get to race against some good guys. So I'm looking forward to it.
So is there an Indiana-Ohio rivalry?
So I mean, personally, I'm on the Ohio side because I don't like the non-wing stuff. I like the wing stuff. So a little bit. Whenever we do go to Indiana, I'm hoping to kick if anyone's like racing not like the races non-wing consistently comes to race wing. I hope to kick their butt sometimes, but
it's always fun. You have the Ohio PA, some of the trash talk. We've got the best racing. But we don't hear a whole lot of the Ohio, Indiana stuff. So we're going to try to generate it here this year and try to make it happen. Or the Ohio, Michigan. I mean, either one.
Oh, yeah. I'm on both sides. I'm 3 sides. I'm Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan.
Yeah, since we mentioned that, before we started recording, we did mention it. But I mean, you're in college right now in Michigan, correct?
Yep.
What are you studying in college?
So I'm doing automotive marketing and management. And
awesome.
Hopefully with that career or with that major, I hope to take it to my career and own a dealership or 2 one day.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then you can like sponsor yourself and go racing all the time, right?
Yep.
That's how that works. So
there you
go. You made your Chili Bowl debut this year,
right?
So what was the Chili Bowl like?
Oh, that was crazy. So we practiced Monday, and it's my second time in a midget. I raced at Jacksonville, Illinois, my first time in a midget, but we went to Chili Bowl, got a midget, and Monday I was like a little tempted. I was trying to drive like a wing car, and so I get in the corner, so I'm like a little tight. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is weird. So I told my dad, I was like, we need to work on some things because I wasn't really comfortable with my pedals and stuff because we needed like a stronger cable or something because it was so easy to press down on the throttle. So we got a new pedal attached and we went to go race Friday. I felt a lot better. I felt a lot smoother. I mean, I made a couple of mistakes and I had a hard heat race, unfortunately, but it was a blast, absolute blast. I'd love to do it again. It's just so fun. We're gonna have the midget plan on our schedule this year just a little bit. I don't want to do too much. I want to focus on the wing racing, but
just kind of throw the midget in where it kind of fits.
Yep. Yep. Whenever we have a rain date or something, we'll try going to Indiana or whatever. We can go with the midget.
Looks like we're gonna have some midget races in Ohio this year, so there's an opportunity there. Yeah.
Oh
maybe. Yeah. So you mentioned Florida. You guys are heading down to Florida in the next week or so. What track are you going to get first? How long are you going to be there? What all's on the docket for the Florida trip?
So I'm gonna be running with USCS, and I kind of got this little championship built up. It's like for a couple weeks we're gonna run across Florida, Georgia, pretty sure Tennessee, and so the first track I'm hit up is Hendry County in Clewiston, Florida, and
Mhm.
I went there at the end of 2021, and I managed to get a top five. I'm pretty sure, so I'm pretty pumped. I got since I've been racing the midget, and I raced earlier in the year in the sprint car. I'm pretty excited to get back. I feel like I'm gonna have some little experience on my belt. I'm gonna have some laps on some of these guys, so I'm pretty excited.
Mhm.
So you with USCS? Are you guys hitting Needmore Speedway in South Georgia?
Yep, we are.
Yeah, that's my
Needmore.
home
Ooh.
track.
Oh, it is.
That's where I grew up, man.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
Yes,
awesome.
awesome. I
I've never
can't wait.
been.
Yeah, this is gonna be cool. I grew up in South Georgia. I've been in Ohio for about 10 years, and yeah, I will be able to. So I'm gonna share this to everybody in South Georgia and tell them you're coming, and we're gonna get some new South Georgia listeners to the Ohio Dirt Track podcast. Here.
Nice.
So
Sweet, that'll be
awesome.
awesome.
So
I think-
Needmore, Corbin's coming your way, man.
Yep.
All right. So I mean,
Needmore is 11th, February 11th and 12th. My bad for interrupting.
no, you're good.
That's right. I think this might be the second time sprint cars have ever been on that track. So
Nice.
those guys, that's fans are going to be excited, and I expect there to be a lot of butts in the seats for that one. So
Sweet. Yeah, I'm
Let's say-
excited. I'm really pumped.
What does Corbin need to know about Needmore Speedway?
they actually built it after I moved to Ohio.
Ah.
So what everybody I have been gone since it's been racing, and honestly I haven't been there yet, but I've watched it. I've seen the footage, and I have my younger cousin Brandon Sellers races the late model there. So I don't know much. I can't tell you much about the track, except it used to be a cotton field.
Oh my.
It'll be a fun country track, and like I said, there'll be a good crowd there for you. But I will find out some stuff for you. I know who to call.
Sweet.
It's like
Yeah,
you
I
have
always-
connections down there.
Yeah, I always love going to new places. It's interesting. I get a little excited. I'm dying to get on the track. Since we got that winter break coming up. I'm pumped. I'm
Mhm.
ready to get back in the sprint car.
Nice. Where else can we expect to see you in 2022?
Okay, so finish off the series. We're going to Hattiesburg. Like I said, we're going to Alabama. I think it's a place called Deep South Speedway, and then we're going to North Alabama Speedway. And then I want to get Lernerville on my belt. I like to go to Knoxville, honestly, and
Mhm.
try out some of the half miles stuff. And I think I might run a race at Eldora. I might do the 360 race with the NRA.
Mhm.
I'm pretty pumped about that because I've always wanted. I told my dad and Dave Jessup, because Dave's helping me out with the sprint car stuff, and I always told him I was like, I think I'm ready for these tracks, and we raced in Florida, and I about got my first win, and at Southern Raceway, I got my first win. I led like half the race, and I'm getting more comfortable in the seat, So I told Dave, I was like, I think I want to race at Knox. I want to try to race in Knoxville and Eldora. I mean, nothing hurts. I mean, it doesn't hurt to get my butt kicked, I mean, just getting lap time and getting experience. So I'm pretty pumped and excited.
Just saying. Then what are some of the goals for this season? Maybe next 5 years even.
Next, so I'm hoping. So this year, I'm hoping to get my first W. I'm trying to get a win, and hopefully I can go to Attica. And my goal is to get a top 5 at Attica this year, probably. And Fremont, I want to get a win at Fremont. And next 5 years, I want to start. I think once I'm done with college, I want to try running a full series with the All Stars. Like to try to run with the All Stars sometime. And my ultimate goal is to win a championship with the All Stars. And if anything forward, I'd like to run with the Outlaws a little bit.
Let's say, carry on the family tradition, with your uncle running with the All Stars there too. That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome. I remember he got a win at Lima Land, I think 1998, I'm pretty sure, at Lima Land. And I've run Lima Land. It's pretty fun. I like
They say it's like a mini Eldora.
I've only ran Eldora and on iRacing, but let me tell you, I was kind of surprised at Lima Land because I play iRacing a lot, so I got on iRacing. I put some laps at Lima Land, and I struggled in the sprint car at Lima. It was pretty tough, and I get to Lima when I actually race it. It's a lot different, in my opinion. It's a lot different. I felt more comfortable than I did on iRacing, but
say iRacing, it's easier to make mistakes because you just press, you hold down the R button and then you're back in the pits, right?
Yep.
easier to make mistakes or easier to recover from mistakes?
Both.
Both. Awesome. So you said you raced at Waynesville, and we didn't talk much about that. We've talked to a lot of drivers who are not from Ohio and drivers from Ohio who say that's their favorite racetrack to come to. What are your thoughts on Waynesville? It looks like a lot of fun, but from a driver's standpoint, how did you feel about it?
Waynesfield. So we went there during the sprint week, and so it was a 360 race. It was pretty slick. So at the start of the night, it was pretty heavy, and then we started running some laps down, and we got to qualifying, and I was like, this is a completely different racetrack. It was slick. It had a massive curb, and it was pretty fun until feature time. I think it took rubber with a couple laps left, and it kind of stunk. But Waynesfield so far, when I've ran it, it's really fun when it's wet and fast. It's a blast, and when it is slick, it's so you get her in there and put her on that little curb and just keep going. It's a blast. I love the place. I like to go there some more.
Jacob?
It seems like whenever when Waynesfield is good, it's really, really good. But it does kind of have that tendency to take rubber there as the night progresses. But once they get that like figured out for the entire night, like it's one of Ohio's best tracks.
Yeah, let me tell you, that place is faster than you think it is too.
Mm-hmm.
It is faster than you think it is. It's pretty fast.
I remember it was Dan McCarron telling me he had a crash at Waynesfield early in 2021, I think. It broke his helmet, and he went and he was talking to doctors, and they did some tests or looked at data or whatever. And he's like, the amount of G's that he took in the hit, it was like the same amount that you would take in an Indy car. And this is, a tiny little quarter-mile bull ring in Ohio dirt track, and he's taking the same amount of G's as an IndyCar wreck. So I mean, it's pretty wild.
She's got some bank to her a little bit, and it is. I can't say this enough. It is a lot faster than thinking. It's like you get in there, and when I'm in the car, at least I'm sitting there. I go into 1 and 2. I'm like, wow. Then I go into 3 and 4. I'm like this is this is fast. This is I didn't even think about this. Like I thought it would be kind of slower, but it's stay on the loud pedal.
Oh yeah,
nice. Awesome. Jacob, what else you got before we wrap up here?
I need supper ideas tonight. I'm on my own tonight. So if you guys have supper ideas, let me know. That's probably what I'm going to go do after this.
Corbin's got the college meal ideas.
I mean, I can make something, or I can go out and eat too.
I mostly go out because, like, I'm not really a fan of the cafe food here. But whenever
I was just about to say, I wish I could just go to a dining hall and pick up some chicken fingers and French fries. I miss those days, man. Or a slice of pizza.
Yeah, we got some pizza, and my favorite is the cheeseburger. I love cheeseburgers. Nothing can go wrong with cheesburgers and fries and ketchup.
There you go, Jacob. You answered your question.
Might make a trip down to McDonald's.
You can't go get a Wayne County Speedway cheeseburger.
I know.
Those are good. Those are really good.
Those are the best. Those are the best cheeseburgers you'll find at a dirt track. Is the Wayne County cheeseburger, and then you get to the cashier. She's running 2 lines faster than most places can run 2 cashiers with 1 line. So
it's exciting. I love to be in there. Just experience it one night. But
listen. 101 episodes of this podcast, and the Wayne County cheeseburger has made an appearance on at least 30% of them.
Probably. It's because they're so good. I've had the hamburgers. The hamburgers are all right, but the cheeseburgers are phenomenal.
Come for the cheeseburgers, enjoy the racing.
Right. A wedding might even break out too. I don't know. That's how we raced at Wayne County in 2020. Is they had a wedding almost every weekend, I think.
We saw a proposal at Attica last year.
We did.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
for the dash. It was Trey.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, man, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. This has been super cool.
Yeah.
Episode 101. We're kicking off the other side of it really, and on a really good note here. So let me make some phone calls, man. I will get some information on Needmore Speedway for you and let you know what you need to know.
Thank you. Just send me that Facebook message and I'll be ready.
All right.
I'm excited. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun. It was nice talking to you guys.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, best of luck finishing up the semester and best of luck when you head south here in the next week or so. And we look forward to seeing you this summer here in Ohio.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in here to the Ohio Dirt Track Podcast. Make sure you check out the site, ohiodirt.com. Still got some shirts there. Check out Jacob's articles. And YouTube channel is growing a little bit more here. So
We got a comment.
Yeah, we got some comments and some new listeners on the YouTube channel. So if you prefer to watch instead of just listening on your phone, check that out at YouTube, Ohio Dirt Track Podcast, or you can just watch it through the Facebook page at ohiodirt.com. All right, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you back on episode 102 here on the Ohio Dirt Track Podcast. Get out, get dirty, and support your local tracks.
Have a nice